Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time since we've talked some Jane Eyre, and I apologize for that. I did go on vacation and then I came down with the flu, so these past 2 weeks I've gotten a little bit behind, but that's okay because we're gonna jump right back in where we left off. So just a quick recap on chapter 15. This is the chapter where the fire happens and Jane is woken up in the middle of the night to a sound outside of her door. She opens the door. There's this eerie candle lit on the floor, and she hears this laugh, and it's very demonic, and smoke's bellowing out of Rochester's room. So she goes to investigate, sees the fire, and puts the fire out and saves his life. Then he leaves the room to go up to the attic where Jane claims she heard the laugh, and he's gone for quite some time, comes back, tells Jane it's just as he expected, and doesn't really go into much more than that, and advises Jane not to speak of that. So they take hands, and he doesn't really want to let her hand go, and I think that's a moment where he's starting to have real feelings for her because she's just saved his life. And she goes to bed and tosses and turns and does not sleep all night. So we know that she has fallen for Rochester at this point. So going forward, chapter 16 opens with Jane really excited to see him. And instead she sees a lot of the servants, and they're talking about the events from the previous night. And so everyone already knows about the fire at this point. But to Jane's surprise, that they don't know the truth of what happened to the fullest extent, because Mr. Rochester has told them that he himself put the fire out. He doesn't mention Jane at all, and that's kind of cautionary, but hopefully we can determine why he did that later on in the story. And chapter 17 opens with Jane kind of talking about how long he's been absent, and she's worried that he's just not going to return. He's gonna just take off like she's been told that he's done previous times in the past. And she's just worried that she's not going to get to see him anytime soon. And then they get a letter, and it announces his return back to Thornfield, and that he intends on bringing a party of people with him. And one of those people includes Blanche, the beautiful woman who seems to be the love interest of Rochester. So they're ordered to get the house ready to entertain them. So they return, and they go into the parlor, and Jane's ordered to be in there, and she's just in this plain dress, and these women are walking in these lavish gowns and looking so beautiful, especially Blanche. And Jane notices that, and she kind of keeps her quiet, and Rochester walks in, and he pretty much ignores Jane, and it's an entire evening of Jane just sitting in the background, not being noticed. Actually, I take that back. She has been noticed by Blanche. I think that Blanche might feel a little bit threatened by Jane, because she starts to talk about other governesses that she has had in the past, and how horrible they are, and how useless they are, and there's really no point in them being who they are. So that's a direct attack against Jane, and Jane says nothing. She's still sitting in the background, just listening to everything, and then she decides to leave, and it is then that Rochester pays attention, and he follows her out, and she tells him that she doesn't want to be around. She doesn't want to be forced to entertain or be in the presence of the party while they're at Thornfield. She's asking him for permission to leave. And he replies, "Well, tonight I excuse you, but understand that so long as my visitors stay, I expect you to appear in the drawing room every evening." So why is it that he wants her there? He values her presence. He wants her in the room. I expect you to appear in the drawing room every evening. It is my wish. Don't neglect it. Now go and send Sophie for Adele. So he's still, at this point, he's still exercising his master tendencies by giving her directives and telling her what she needs to do. I mean, she is employed by him at the end of the day, so he's able to do so. But he follows up with, "Now go and send Sophie for Adele. Good night, my..." And then he pauses himself. He stopped, bit his lip, and abruptly left me. And that is the end of chapter 17. So he was about, I think he was about to call her a pet name. Chapter 18, I think this could possibly be my favorite chapter so far, just because of all of the action that's going on within the chapter. It opens up with Jane describing the events that follow, several days follow, and she's describing having to basically sit and watch the flirting go on between Blanche and Rochester, and I think it's excruciating for her to watch, but she has been ordered to be in their presence, so she has to do that. Then they play a game of charades where Blanche and Rochester actually pretend to get married. And she's forced to sit through that. And then Rochester leaves and the guests stay in the home. And then several days have passed. He's still gone. And a mysterious woman shows up, and she claims to be this traveling gypsy. And she wishes to tell the fortunes of all of the women that are in the party. And Blanche, she wants to go first, and so she leaves the room and goes and sits down face to face, one-on-one with the gypsy. And when she returns, she doesn't look happy, and she sits down in a corner and opens a book and pretends to read the book. So Jane sees that she's not very content with the fortune that she has just been told. Then the rest of the ladies follow, and then we think that that's going to be the end of it. And then one of the gentlemen comes in and goes up to Jane and says that, you know, she said there's another lady in the room that she wants to talk to. So you're the last one, so it must be you. And the chapter ends with Jane going to see the gypsy and to be revealed her fortune. So we're going to see that in the next chapter. I'm really excited to read that this week. What did you guys think of these 3 chapters? I really enjoyed chapter 18. I think it was my favorite out of all of them. But yeah, I'm super excited to continue on with the story, and make sure you're here next week, Thursday night. I will be posting another video discussing the next 3 chapters, which will be 19, 20, and 21. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.